choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone.
That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives by this point of pale light.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Rocket Tranquility, we copy you on the ground. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
GM everybody, welcome to another edition of this week's MoonDAO Town Hall. Yeah, good to be here. How's it going, Pablo? GM?
GM. Yeah, busy week this week. Lots of moon talk. Yeah, I feel like all of social media has been kind of lit a fire with moon. Moon versus Mars, SpaceX pivoting, Blue Origin getting rid of New Shepard and focusing just on the moon. So yeah, lots of stuff to discuss. XAI being acquired by SpaceX for orbital data centers. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening right now.
Everything's coalescing around our MoonDAO vision. You know, it's all coming together.
Just a good plan.
Yes, we've been talking about this for years now, and it's all finally coming to fruition. Our intro video, you know, feels more relevant than ever in terms of, you know, going to the moon in this decade, and, you know, all eyes are now back on the moon, which I think is kind of the most logical, you know, the next most logical step for us to venture out into the cosmos. Obviously, it's not a final destination, but it's going to be the place where we really get our feet wet in the regolith, so to speak, and figure a lot of things out, and can iterate a lot faster in terms of habitation systems and in space, you know, in situ resource utilization and all that. So it's really exciting to see the industry kind of coalesce in this direction from all different players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, but NASA changed its mission to basically be exactly MoonDAO's mission, to have a presence on the moon, a sustained human presence on the moon by 2030, and that's been our goal since, I don't know, 2022. So, I mean, you know, we're definitely an ant compared to NASA, but it's cool that we kind of share the same goals. And if anything, you know, we've kind of I'm not saying that they're copying us. They're not, but it's cool that we've maybe anticipated some of the shifts and kind of saw where the ball was moving. I think we can at least maybe pat ourselves on the back there. Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's we're basically people kind of maybe think that our idea is a bit crazy, or, you know, that's been kind of the reaction from some people. It's like, well, this is way too ambitious, way too out there, but, you know, this is the direction that things are going. We just kind of happen to be well lined up to play a role. I'm not going to say we're going to be the major player, but we can play a role in the direction that things are going, and it's, you know, really exciting to see happen, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say MoonDAO in a lot of ways definitely punches above its weight for the you know, the relative size of the organization versus like some of these other very well capitalized companies. I think we have actually like a pretty decent mind share in terms of the space community, which is pretty cool. I feel like yeah, it's you know, very I value a lot of the people within the MoonDAO community, and I think it's maybe based because of the nature of the organization and how things kind of work online. We can reach people from all corners of the planet. But yeah, either way, somehow we've found ourselves at this like very momentous occasion where there's a massive renewed interest in the moon, and there's real competition towards the moon. New Glenn versus Starship, and versus China even. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting next 4 years until the end of the decade, which seems to be kind of like a recurring theme around goals. People are saying
Right.
2030 is when they want to make these things happen. So, and there's, I think, there's real kind of material losses if these timelines slip in terms of maybe like military strategy or something like that. So I feel like when those sorts of things come into play, the big budgets start to get rolled out, and so we'll see what happens.
Totally, yeah. We'll probably see, a lot of different funding sources coming together around this kind of shared goal, this mission, not just obviously from the U.S., but in different countries around the world, and a little bit of friendly competition. All that's always a good thing. Taking a slight step back, I think it was Blue Origin that announced a couple weeks ago that they were going to be piloting their New Shepard flights for no less than 2 years, which obviously took a lot of people by surprise. Us, we have we know a lot of people that are anticipating suborbital space flights, or hoping to partake in these sorts of things, to be able to shift the and resources on the moon, of course, as we're discussing here. But I guess, yeah, what was your kind of reaction to that news, Pablo? I mean, were you kind of taken aback, surprised? Were you think this is a step in the right direction to focus their efforts there as opposed to the kind of suborbital space hops? I mean, that was MoonDAO's bread and butter, so to speak. We've sent 2 people on suborbital hops with Blue Origin, obviously, in the past couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, in the same way that after Alan Shepard, went up on the suborbital hop, they raised their ambitions and kind of moved away from suborbital. Like, it makes sense for Blue Origin as a growing organization with bigger ambitions beyond suborbit. Like, I think New Shepard was a great vehicle for them to test a lot of things and to gain that sort of like their capabilities and capacity as an organization. But I think now they can reach even further. And so I think it makes sense for them to just focus on New Glenn. Whether or not there was external pressure, I mean, that just like speculation on my end, but I do find it interesting that there's been kind of like a focus from both Blue Origin and SpaceX around the same time, which might indicate some level of like external pressure, maybe from like NASA or the government saying like, we need to win this race to the moon, which is, I think, and that's a good thing too. I think if we're seeing the administration like asking for this focus, then that means that more money will go into the industry. There will be kind of more opportunities for more companies that want to work in the lunar ecosystem. So yeah, I don't know, but there's definitely, yeah, I could speculate on a lot of things, but all we know is, I guess, the headlines or the news. So.
Right. And I guess, New Shepard, I don't know how many people it flew in total, but they've done, I don't know, approaching maybe 80, 90 people, something like that. I forget, but a lot of people, and obviously they gained a lot of knowledge and experience through that. And New Glenn, is now a functional spacecraft. It's flown a couple times now. They've recovered the booster. They're going to be reusing the booster here on in an upcoming mission this year. I believe the next New Glenn flight, which is really, really cool to see. Obviously, the rapid reusability and all that is kind of the direction that the industry is going, pushed by SpaceX, obviously, or led by SpaceX. So yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I guess it remains to be seen if this is really a pause of 2 years, or if we're going to be seeing a resumption of suborbital sort of space flights from them in the future, or if this is essentially kind of a sunset of the program, because 2 years is a kind of lifetime essentially in the space industry. Who knows where capabilities will be, especially with everything kind of focused on New Glenn
Right.
and on the moon and their Blue Moon lunar lander. So we could see a whole different ecosystem for them where it doesn't necessarily make sense to bring back a suborbital hop. But yeah,
And
amazing
I
first
guess it
step.
wouldn't be the first time that New Shepard was paused for almost 2 years, because New Shepard had the anomaly. I think, if I recall, it was like end of 2022, beginning of 2023. Maybe I'm getting the timeline wrong, but they were grounded for at least a year and a half. So yeah, I guess they have the capacity to kind of turn it off and turn it back on. So maybe they do turn it back on after 2 years, but who knows?
Yeah, I think it was the end of 2023 and was definitely over a year where they weren't flying. But I know they did bring on another booster. They were really just starting to hit a great cadence too. They were flying essentially monthly flights. So I guess that was kind of why it really took people by surprise, essentially, because it was like, okay, they're really just starting to get their rhythm, and now they're gonna just turn off the faucet a little bit here and go all in on the moon. So remains to be seen.
Yeah, and then the other big piece of news is the XAI, XAI being acquired by SpaceX. That's and ahead of the SpaceX IPO too, which is quite interesting. But I've been kind of tracking that whole all the developments, and Dwarkesh had a pretty good podcast with John Collison. And Elon, and I mean, I don't know. Any thoughts on that? Do you, have any sort of intuitions around what might be going on?
No, I mean it's definitely. I haven't got a chance to listen to the podcast yet with Dwarkesh, and that's on my to listen to list here. But yeah, I mean it's pretty wild. I mean everything that's going to happen pre SpaceX IPO. I mean this is going to be a pretty momentous giant splash in the the stock market and the space industry in general. I mean, I think a lot of people are obviously anticipating what this could mean in terms of external funding sources and all that coming into SpaceX's coffers. I don't know what the plans are. I mean, we're obviously talking about mass drivers on the moon and building satellites that are going to be launching off of there to power the off-world data centers and the XAI intelligence and Grok off-world here. So, well, what's your read on it, Pablo?
I mean, I think it's kind of the classic Elon like vision is right, and the actual economics of it makes sense. The physics of it makes sense too. I think that the direction is correct. It's just the timeline is so wild. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. I believe that in that podcast he said in 30 to 36 months it'll be more economical to have a data center in orbit versus one on Earth. Or I don't know if that was the exact wording or the exact way but he's basically setting a timeline of 36 months to say like this is the time that like there'll be an inflection point where it will make more sense to do all this stuff in space. So
yeah, I mean Elon's obviously his timelines and kind of wild predictions. Usually, what he says does seem to come true, maybe just not on the exact same timeline. I mean, obviously there's like the websites like Elon Time or whatever where I don't know, it's something like 3 or 5x what he actually says. Obviously we're supposed to be sending starships to the moon and Mars by now on the original timelines. Those slip, which some people obviously criticize, but I don't know, I just see it as kind of a maybe a overly optimistic or ambitious cycle that really gets us to people following it, the people that work there, to kind of really think about what could be possible and a motivation, because if it is too far out, it becomes obviously less of a motivating factor too. Like we have to make it feel real and tangible, even if it is, X amount of times harder than originally envisioned and takes, 3 times as long. So in the same way, MoonDAO has this kind of these ambitious goals, and people think it's maybe a little bit ridiculous, but we have to paint the picture of what could be to build towards that, and capture the people who are aligned with that sort of idea and vision, and it resonates with the dreamers and the doers and all that.
Yeah, I mean, like we can't be ones to judge Elon for painting a big and ambitious vision. Like, yeah, people sometimes might scoff at our own mission and our own timeline of 2030, but the reason it's there is because we believe in this sort of acceleration timeline, that like these inflection points need to be kind of like we need to rise to the occasion. There's an opportunity right now, and if we slow down, who knows if we'll continue to have that opportunity. And I think that that Elon's mind maybe works in the same way, where he literally fears some level of like nuclear annihilation on Earth, and that happening on a short time span. And if we don't have a, in his words, self-growing base on the moon, or some kind of self-sustaining city on Mars, and I guess his timelines are thinking around it as like 10 years for something on the moon, 20 to 30 years for something on Mars. Again, maybe this is Elon time, but I do think that it's motivated by some level of fear about like geopolitical conflict on Earth, and the way that things seem to be kind of shifting here, more towards maybe war versus peace. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, all of that seems very abstract in some sort of way, but the state of the world is relatively chaotic. So, I mean, it is definitely a miracle to some degree that it hasn't happened yet. We've had nukes since, I don't know, the 1940s. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, things just keep seeming to get more volatile. Things are not calming down, essentially. I mean, I don't know if, hopefully, obviously, we don't reach that point, but I obviously understand like part of Elon's message there, and goals to have, a place where human consciousness and humanity can continue to thrive should there be a terrible, terrible, events here on Earth. But yeah, I mean, I guess going back to kind of this idea of, the accelerating timeline, obviously, I think there's a lot of different factors that are converging at once. I mean, we've seen the rapid, crazy growth in AI capabilities over the past, it's like 3 to 4 years, essentially. Every year it just gets more and more intense. Like, there's also been a lot of activity about like agentic AI, a lot of chatter about agentic AI with OpenClaw and ClaudeBot or Moltbots, and Claude co-working, and all these things coming to the fore right now in early 2026. Who knows where we'll be in a year from now in terms of that sort of intelligence, but also as we see that get embodied into things like robots, and how that can help scale these crazy ambitious timelines off-world, where we can embody that AI on robots, etc., to help create the groundwork for kind of these off-world civilizations. And it's not so crazy or sci-fi or far-fetched at this point in time to really see that as being a real possibility here in a 3 to 5 year time frame, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just gonna put here, Frank says data centers off-world are good for Earth. Yeah, I mean, I think Bezos's vision for a long time has been the idea of like kind of putting this heavy manufacturing out in space to keep the Earth pristine and keep it as a garden for humanity. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Like all kind of maybe more polluting industries can be moved off world. But yeah, I guess to your point, Ryan, the demand for the just like intelligence seems to be, I don't think that we're going to reach a ceiling on that demand anytime soon. And the energy necessity for some of these data centers are reaching the magnitudes that we haven't ever been able to scale up towards. So yeah, I think some of these like maybe more first principles, like reasoning around like energy and how it's actually easier to get energy in space. It does make sense. Like it does make sense that space would be a place where like all of Earth's energy comes from the sun, but only a very small fraction of that energy can be captured on Earth. But if you go outside of Earth's atmosphere, the efficiency of solar goes up quite a lot, and you can have these like very, very huge like mega constellations that can scale up to like say a terawatt of energy that can be used towards compute. The argument that I hear a lot is like, who's going to do the maintenance with these like GPUs in space? Like, you do have to like swap them out a lot. Elon's retort was around like infant mortality. Like usually with a GPU, you can run it for a bit here on Earth and see if it's working and then put it up. But I mean, I think beyond that, it's going to be tough. Like unless a part of the vision is also having like Optimi out in space, refurbishing these data centers and wiring, things that come, basically things break often, and there's tons of humans around any of these data centers here on Earth, and I don't think we've gotten to the point where you can just kind of like automate all of that yet. So yeah, I mean, I think it's very futuristic, but first principles argument, I think it makes sense, which is kind of shocking as well. Like when I first saw some of the announcements, I was definitely started out with eyebrows raised, like, okay, well, is this a play to maybe bolster the SpaceX IPO by adding AI in there because AI is hot right now? I kind of came at it from that angle as very skeptical. And then as I was listening to more of Elon's thoughts, I was like, okay, maybe there's something here actually. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome though. Either way, like it's the cost of sending mass into orbit is going down dramatically. So, and data centers are hugely in demand. So it's kind of a perfect marriage there. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I think we got, shout out to the folks watching on YouTube or on other socials. Obviously, Frank, Austin, Edward, others. Yeah, Frank says AI-enabled robots will make it more realistic to move heavy civilization outward. I think it's going to be obviously like a key factor. Obviously, in our day-to-day work, we use AI heavily just for, computer work, coding, all these sorts of things. It's only a matter of time before it can start having more outward facing interactions with the physical world and help us, like it helps design a website or images or whatever right now. It can also help us, design or build lunar bases or habitats or, yeah, I think it's a logical combination of Elon's major initiatives. Obviously, he's combining lots of different industries, whether you're forward thinking about the Boring Company and excavating habitats underneath the lunar surface or underneath the Martian surface and being able to house humanity there, or his work with XAI and sending this all off world here. Yeah, just really exciting. I guess we got a question here from Lakshmi too. Beyond SpaceX and Blue Origin, how do you see the rest of the sector's readiness with the lunar support infrastructure by 2030? What other companies are leading the tech on this front?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, we were part of a I'll put the question back up, a program or a study on accelerating the lunar economy, and there are various companies, including SpaceX and Blue Origin, that were a part of these sort of workshops. I mean, there's kind of a smaller constellation of different companies kind of around it, that are working on different parts of the stack. Some are working on robotics in space. Some are working on manufacturing, or taking the lunar regolith and like turning it into bricks, or turning it into landing pads. Others are working on energy solutions. Yeah, even I think there was one on like a lunar train. So there's definitely a lot of people that are thinking up interesting ideas, and companies that are working towards it. I think that that during that period, there was some level of uncertainty around maybe the government's willingness to put a lot of money into these sorts of plans. But now it seems like likely these companies will be doing a lot better. So I think that they're in terms of readiness, they've been working towards these plans for many years, but probably under resourced. So yeah, it should be interesting to see this sort of boom. But yeah, I look at the Luna 10 DARPA workshop. There's a lot of companies that were listed there that are working on lunar infrastructure.
Yeah, I guess some like Icon, obviously, in terms of printing like 3D habitats off-world. They've done a lot of stuff here on Earth, obviously, but are working towards off-world. Obviously, companies like Firefly are kind of leading the commercial side of things for lunar landers and all that, which is really exciting to see. We've got more commercial clips. Intuitive Machines. We've got I think Intuitive Machines 3 IM3 mission coming up later this year. Blue Origin has its Blue Moon Pathfinder mission. Not sure what other lunar lander missions there are, but yeah, I think kind of in a way, this kind of dual focus, maybe the moon, yes, the Mars, yes, it kind of divides resources and attention. I mean, obviously it's great if you can build the tech to support both initiatives, in a short term and a longer term, but like having kind of this dual mandate, really splits kind of the attention of some different organizations. It's nice to see it coalesce here around one core objective on a shorter time scale, which obviously allows all these companies to learn a lot quicker, iterate faster, and improve tech that will be used to expand out further into the solar system eventually. But trying to think of any other companies that jump out. I mean, this isn't this is a smaller scale, but I mean, even just like some of the MoonDAO projects that came through here in the Q1 cohort, obviously shout out to like Lakshmi, who's working on this governance workshop in Bolivia to get kind of different voices about how we're going to be working off-world on the moon. Like even our projects here, obviously we're MoonDAO, but some of these projects here in the Q1 cohort are focused on this this new goal of a lunar future. Obviously, we have Michael Kessel-Miller in here earlier with the LDC initiative, and yeah, it's really cool to see these more independence or grassroots effort to shape that direction here. That all fits very well with MoonDAO's goal and our mission here, obviously, which is why the community supported those projects.
We have another comment here. Oh, there we go. Oh, I lost it. I'll read it. Boring tunnels besides mobility options will create some H3 for the quantum chip cooling. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me kind of to wrap my head around some of these like helium-3 companies that are applying it towards, say, like quantum or yeah, I mean, it's kind of like your speculative technology applied by another speculative technology, or say, yeah, you want to do like fusion with the helium-3. I mean, I think it's super cool. and very interesting. It's kind of one of these big if true. It's like you multiply the probability of it happening, and maybe that's a small probability. But then if it does actually happen, it's a pretty big opportunity. So it's cool that, for example, I know a lot of there's a lot of Blue Origin leadership that is now very focused on trying to collect helium-3 from lunar regolith. They do have to process quite a lot of regolith to get the helium-3, but yeah, I think maybe it makes a lot of sense in terms of kind of reducing strategic surprise if that helium-3 does turn out to be incredibly valuable for these industries, and they do work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess taking a step back, I definitely find it fascinating that there's this like very unique element on the moon that may be incredibly critical for our energy needs and our computing needs. But yeah, I mean, kind of cool that that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it does turn out to be, big if true, if it is true in the end, then obviously that'll be a huge driving force towards further expansion of, any lunar developments and the opening of commercial space on the moon. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely something that's, a little bit probably further out there in terms of this time scale. I mean, I'm assuming, we'll be seeing a high frequency of earthbound or launches from Earth to the moon from all the different commercial providers, whether it's Starship or New Glenn or what have you, that are really supporting this until yeah, it really becomes feasible to kick off these mining operations, becoming the self-sustaining entity that we want to see on the moon and beyond.
Yeah. I mean, I think kind of on a broader note, like we don't know exactly all of the utility of having a presence on the moon. We can kind of come up with scenarios and simulations and kind of reason from things, but until we're actually there, there's just so much uncertainty. However, I think it makes a ton of sense that whoever is there first and figures out these things on the frontier will have a massive advantage. I mean, basically, it's been the history of empires since forever. The ones that are expanding and exploring and then integrating some of this new knowledge benefit immensely from it. So, yeah, I think there's a real sort of competition between nations to get there, even if they don't know exactly how it'll all play out. Yeah.
I guess that's a good segue into like how does MoonDAO fit into this? I mean, that's like the vision, right? Like so it's not restricted to singular companies or singular nations, but how do we have kind of this more open source and accessible kind of way to tap into what's happening on the moon and in the lunar ecosystem? What are your thoughts there, Pablo?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be too, I guess, like kumbaya about it or idealistic about it. I think that there will always be some level of real competition around the moon. But that being said, it's clearly one of these things where like the pie is very small at the moment. There have only been a handful of landers that have landed on the moon. The U.S. returned to the moon for the first time in 50 years in 2024. Like, it's such a nascent industry that it makes quite a lot of sense, I think, to provide essentially a platform for a lot of organizations to work together in this harsh environment. And I think that if we can find more commonalities and ways to support one another and support the industry, this is a benefit for all humanity. And so, I think, yeah, maybe we'll never get full like peace on Earth or something like that. But I do think that the moon represents a very unique sort of like there's something very unique about the moon psychology in that every single nation on Earth looks up, and I think they find some level of inspiration when it comes to the moon. And so it's one of the very few things that I think a lot of people can get behind. And so, you know, I think that we need things that that unite us, and we can all look forward to, look up to, and feel some sort of level of unity as a species. So yeah, but yeah, and that excites me, and that's kind of been the driving mission around a lot of MoonDAO ethos and the way we operate. So
yeah, I guess save for an alien invasion a la Independence Day or something like that. Like, you know, space is just in general what we can unite around the moon. Everybody looks up at the stars, looks up at the moon. Yeah, it's just a source of inspiration. I think MoonDAO can provide an example and a model for different ways that people can coordinate and organize. Obviously, we're experimenting with that on a smaller scale here on a daily basis in terms of how we operate and coordinate. We have, you know, 160 plus citizens from more than 30 countries around the world. So we're already working across borders, across cultures, across languages, uniting around some of these common initiatives that unite us together. And it's really cool, really inspiring to see. I think still one of my favorite things is to like open up the MoonDAO map and scroll around there and see where we've got all these people around the world, and you know how we're coming together behind this kind of common vision that we want to see humans move off world. It's crazy. It's been so long, you know, only 24 people, I guess, have seen Earth rise, have seen the Earth rising up over the lunar horizon. And that's all, you know, 50 plus years ago. Like humans haven't been back even near the moon, and probably the majority of people alive on Earth's lifetime right now. You know, I think, you know, people skew in a younger way probably, but amongst the billions of people, we've never seen a lunar mission. And I guess, you know, we're on the cusp of it here. Obviously, Artemis 2 is coming up potentially in March or probably sometime this year, which will be the first kind of return trip around the moon where humans are able to see an Earthrise and see the moon kind of up close. And that'll be, I don't know if it'll capture the public imagination on such a grand scale, like Apollo 11, etc. But I think it does represent an opportunity to really capture a good deal of the public imagination as we really see this happening again, or at least hopefully it does. That's my you know, that's my dream, I guess, that, you know, people are going to see this and be inspired to pursue future opportunities there. Hopefully AI video doesn't make them just disbelieve it and deny it like we've seen for decades as well. But yeah, I think Artemis 2, regardless of, you know, whether it's the Senate launch system and criticisms of the rocket itself, it still represents a significant and important step forward that a lot of people are excited to see. And it's just an important step here in seeing manned Starship or crewed Starship and crewed New Glenn flights in the near future potentially.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that, yeah, the moon is the stepping stone into the rest of the cosmos, and it's kind of the antithesis of this fixed pie sort of mentality, where, you know, you have to fight on limited resources here on Earth. But yeah, there's quite a lot of, you know, it's quite a lot of stuff up in space. So yeah, if we can figure out ways to accelerate the advent of the ability to return resources back to Earth or support Earth from space, then I think this is, you know, huge and amazing for all of humanity. Yeah, the other maybe potentially negative outcome would be that it's monopolized by like one company or one nation or something like that, and I think that's also an outcome to look out for. You want to accelerate it, but you want to do it in a way where there's kind of natural competition and there are many players, and that people can you know, like that there isn't just one mega wealthy corporation that kind of monopolizes this stuff. And I think that's also part of the MoonDAO ethos, or something that a future that we're trying to work towards. And the other thing that I'd note as well is that, I mean, we're seeing kind of the age of agentic AI. I know it's a big buzzword, but you know, like Ryan mentioned, we use it on a daily basis. And in a world where so much can be maybe generated or faked, or and on top of that can be done instantaneously or move super quickly, I think that you want to have the level of security that smart contracts can provide. You want to have the level of speed that they can provide. The like across the world finality in like instants versus in days. So I think that we're going to need to upgrade a lot of the infrastructure for like ways that humans collaborate on Earth. And I think that this is also something that is really exciting and interesting, and I think will reshape the way that like organizations work in the 21st century. So yeah, lots of like lots of cool stuff that I think we get to peek into at MoonDAO, to be honest. So
there's a lot of volatility in the world, but obviously a lot of things to be excited about too, if we can push through all that. And yeah, another comment from Lakshmi here. She says, you know, in our work, we're seeing so much excitement among students, even from countries that don't have a space program. We certainly are at a threshold moment, and yeah, I think that's part of it too, right? Like seeing humans go back around the moon will be a huge moment for a lot of these young people around the world. Can definitely relate to that. Like when we did our Brazil outreach project, there was like so much excitement from the community there. They do have a space program there, and they do have sent astronauts to space, but I mean, there's still like so much excitement even amongst places that don't necessarily have a lot of opportunities to work in the space industry currently, and all that's going to really blow up here in the near future in terms of, well, hopefully who can access those opportunities and who can participate in the space industry. I think we'll see you know, just a lot more renewed interest in terms of, as the number of astronauts going to space increases and the number of launches increases, all this is bound to capture at least some segment of the public imagination for sure. Yeah, Frank White says it will be important for Artemis 2 to succeed. Definitely agree there. It's going to be a cool mission. It'd be awesome to be there in person. I know, you know, some people were talking about the initial Artemis 1 launch and just how wild it was to see in person because of the solid rocket boosters and all that. It's just really kind of an intense, bright launch. It would be awesome to be there for Artemis 2 for sure. I don't think I'll make it. It's kind of just too hard to plan around a rocket launch like that when it's likely to get moved around and scrubbed so much, even within a relatively tight window, but it would be fun.
yeah. I mean, it seems like there's so much going on right now. It really does feel like everything is accelerating. Like every week is just a crazy amount of amazing news in both the space industry and the pace of how you know AI is advancing is wild too. I mean, that's also kind of reshaping a lot of the ways that we're operating as an organization. And yeah, I feel like we're lucky to be able to kind of benefit from all of this. Like we've kind of just been riding this immense wave, and I don't know. I'm kind of like not sure how big this groundswell is going to end up being. I mean, yeah, I think we're really just on the cusp of all the enthusiasm around Lunar. 2026 has like a bunch of missions slated. I know that we have this presentation. I don't know if we want to go through it here to just like wrap things up for the town hall.
Yeah, we've kind of been,
some of the
just kind of been riffing.
Yeah, we have been riffing. We ended up not really needing the presentation, but yeah, Frank says it's kind of like the 60s. I agree. It's like we're lucky to be alive right now. People look back at the 60s with nostalgia, but we're living through an equally interesting period of human history.
Totally. Yeah, there's so many missions here, and you know, there's the V3 version of Starship that's going to be flying again here soonish, maybe March. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Frank confirms that the 60s was a cool time.
Wish I were there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We kind of riffed on a lot of these. I don't know if we want to hang on anything. I guess this is kind of the key thing, though, in terms of the feedback loop and iteration cycle of what can be done with the, obviously the launch windows for Mars are pretty wide, every 26 months or so, that they can launch a whole. The idea is to launch hundreds or even thousands of starships at a time, which obviously seems very ambitious at this moment in time, to be able to meet those launch windows for Mars, as opposed to like the lunar cycle, where you can launch every 10 days and you can get back and forth to Earth in 3 to 7 days or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is my major question around this, though, is we've done this for a long time. This is not new news, but I'm curious what caused, for example, like Jeff has been very focused on the moon for a long time. NASA has been very focused and kind of reiterating the same idea of like the moon as being this like place where we can test out all this technology and then go to Mars. But Elon has kind of rejected this for a while, stating things like the moon is a distraction. It's like not, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he's kind of changed his mind around it. But yeah, I mean, I think this is really the key slide. It's like it's 2 to 3 days away. You can do a ton of, I mean, it says 10 days on the slide, but it depends on your trajectory. You can get there a lot quicker.
I think that's
you can iterate on
the
things
launch,
a lot faster.
The launch windows or whatever, just they still have like, they can do it every 10 days, but yeah, a couple-day journey essentially could be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows what caused the change in Elon's opinion there, but yeah, go ahead, Pablo.
Yeah, I mean, hard to speculate on, but yeah, I mean, I think this is just, it really speaks for itself. Like, you want to have a quick feedback and iteration cycle. It's like anything, any new technology, you need to deploy it, test it, see what works, see what fails, fail quickly, and then fix it. So
that's been the key premise of the whole like Starship program, or even Falcon and Dragon, is just iterating quickly. So it does make a lot of sense. It's hard to say. I mean, some people are pretty aghast over the decision of quote unquote abandoning Mars or pushing it back, like Robert Zubrin or whatever. People are kind of some people are taking it pretty hard, but I think it's still a pretty, I don't know, this always just kind of seemed like the most logical next step, even if the greater ambition is to go to Mars and have a terraformed world there that isn't possible on the moon. But this is still a super important and much closer and much more achievable objective here in our lifetimes, for sure. So it could be political pressure from above, but either way, it's good. I mean, even NASA in the past has flip-flopped on different things too, as they say we should go to Mars and then we should go to the moon. It kind of depends on which administration is there, and things can change every 4 to 8 years. So really needs kind of a collective push and effort to get everybody behind this within a short time frame before the political winds change again, right? As long as there's a foothold and an initiative there on the moon, it can continue to grow, especially if there's a commercial reason to be on the moon. That will obviously be a self-sustaining type thing. But
right. I mean, I don't think we need to go through the entirety of this presentation. I mostly just wanted to go on the slide where it's like 2026. Here's like the mission slated, because we were kind of talking about what was, what we have to look forward here in 2026. But sort of industry. Yeah, this is the slide I wanted to look at. Blue Moon, Intuitive Machines 3, Griffin Mission 1, Blue Ghost, Apex 1.0. What company is Apex? No, that one I'm not sure about. Is that just hallucination potentially? Okay.
Maybe. No, let's see. No, it's iSpace.
It's iSpace. Oh, iSpace. Oh, they renamed. I thought it was Hakuta. They renamed it to Apex.
Apex. Okay. It's a next generation lunar lander. Okay. So it's
Cool.
set to be part of CLPS initiative here, potentially in 2026 or maybe early 2027. But yeah, it's got a 300 kilogram payload capacity and improved structural durability. And yeah, I guess there's some videos and stuff. I actually hadn't really heard of this this lander either. But so we've got at least I don't know, what do we got? Like 4 lunar landing missions and a couple like pretty significant rocket launches here. Next gen rocket launches coming up this year. A lot to look forward to. Obviously, Artemis 2 as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Cadre mission. So this is a really interesting one out of TL, where they're doing like deep kind of penetrating radar to look below the surface and do some very interesting studies, I guess, on the magnetism around the moon. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot and there's still a lot of science to be, or a lot of new findings that I think will come out of this next wave of exploration. So yeah, it's cool that JPL and is working towards the mission. I know they've been very focused on Mars and deep space, but you know, the moon right here in our backyard, we barely understand it. So yeah. Governance gap. Yeah. I mean, it's some of the stuff that we've been talking about. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of people focus on like legal frameworks for the moon and how the UN is going to approach the moon and all this stuff. And I mean, my big thing is like, we're not even there yet. Like, this is cart before the horse a lot. But that said, I think it's good to think it through and to have good ideas. And I'd point out, for example, like the Lunar Development Cooperative, I think, is very interesting, and they're working on very practical ways to address these sorts of things. And the need is there for sure. But yeah, especially anything that is like looking to maybe like regulate or add and paperwork for the moon when it's something that we barely have,
Right.
What, 5 landers on the moon right now or something like that.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
a little too early.
Get ahead of ourselves or have a big EU bureaucracy or something on the moon before we get there and just shut it down before we can really implement anything on the ground, right? So
can Brussels please chill out about the moon? Can we just can you let the moon cook for a little bit? Can we just
right.
Can we not throw a bunch of paperwork at them? Can the lawyers not get involved just yet?
All right.
No, I'm joking, of course. I do think that there's a need to like think these things through, but hopefully they accelerate lunar development and support lunar development and aren't something that stifle it.
Yeah, totally.
Strategic questions. Yeah, I mean, they're interesting questions.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of them, like number 2, would be good, and good questions for the community or citizens or people watching here, just about how we could potentially engage MoonDAO as a community, as an organization, with some of the upcoming like lander missions beyond just things like branding. Obviously, we did the project, what was it, last year, where we had a private key embedded into the life ship Golden Pyramid on the moon, and there's a small lunar bounty there that's sitting on the surface of the moon for someone to potentially discover in the near future, a human or a robot. But yeah, what other ways, I guess, might we
can still add to that bounty?
That's true. Yeah. You can still add to that wallet and contribute, and it's kind of our first little experiment in a prize model that we've discussed quite a bit too, where somebody can recover that wallet and get the prize, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there's a big opportunity, especially as costs go down, to just purchase space on any of these landers, and then maybe host competitions or figure out ways that the community can get involved in creating a presence there on the lunar surface. Yeah, MoonDAO is interesting because we kind of just get to piggyback on a lot of the industry and the economy that's forming on the lunar surface. And yeah, I mean, I think what MoonDAO really does is it creates a new customer for a lot of these companies, one that's kind of that's outside of government, or is not a billionaire. It's kind of, you know, it's a very unique category of thing where it behaves somewhere in between a private individual and a government. So I think it allows for us to kind of do very, very interesting things, or host very interesting competitions, or engage people from around the world. So we're like, you know, I think a very unique customer in this way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, in some of our conversations with different space companies, obviously a lot of our focus is basically B to G, you know, business to government. That's their main kind of interface or interaction. And, you know, working with MoonDAO allows these companies or these initiatives, these missions, to engage directly with consumers as well. So we're a customer as an organization, but based, you know, using our governance model and how we operate at MoonDAO, regular kind of people can get involved with the decision-making process around some of these small pieces of a lunar mission, like an actual lunar mission. And they can be, you know, they can feel tied to the mission. They can be invested in the mission, not monetarily, but, you know, they can be emotionally invested in the mission and have a real stake in kind of how things play out. So it's a cool way to yeah, make space more accessible to people, no matter where they are in the world too, as we do some of these missions.
Yeah. I guess we kind of covered 3 a little bit in the previous slide. So I like this slide. The decade of settlement starts now. 2026 is the proving ground. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the statement. Yeah, big shout out to Notebook LM. These presentations are very, very cool. Sometimes they come out, they surprise you, I guess. And yeah, but it's pretty good.
It's epic close. Starship on the surface of the moon, Earthrise. I mean, yeah, this is really, you know, MoonDAO has been around for what, 4 years now, and been, you know, discussing these ideas and pushing forward these ideas, and it's really starting to kind of take off now. Obviously, at the beginning of that time period when MoonDAO started, it was more on the space tourism side of things, where it was really Virgin Galactic kicking off, Blue Origin kicking off with their suborbital flights. And now, you know, 4 years later, we're really seeing the lunar cycle and kind of that core mission and idea of MoonDAO starting to get that same excitement and push forward here. So yeah, a decade of settlement. I think it's, you know, tracking, I guess, in terms of where we are and where we're going.
Agreed. All right. Well, we're perfectly at the hour, so I think you know, great timing.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fun little chat. I feel like yeah, we've been very busy lately with all of the projects, and I mean, it's been awesome. Last week we hosted every project here in the town hall, and it'll be exciting to see their progress at the sort of like midpoint update, which will happen beginning of March. And yeah, but I guess in the meantime, we don't often get to have just like a general conversation about the state of space. So this is kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of first time we've done one like this exactly. It just seemed warranted with everything that's been going on here in the past couple of weeks and our focus on the projects. Yeah, I guess in terms of, I know that we have some potential analog astronaut scholarship opportunities coming up for those in the community. Announcement should be coming out soon about that. So, you know, please do stay tuned. We'll expect some more info here from Julio Resende, who's the project lead. I know the dates for the event in Bolivia, the governance workshop at Universidad NUR, are set for early April, I think April 10th and 11th. So, things are moving forward in terms of all the projects. It'll be exciting to hear from our project leads, though, in March to hear about all the specifics that they've been doing. If you are a project lead, do post your updates in the what did you get done this week channel, just for everybody to know. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. People watching too, let us know if you enjoyed this type of thing, if something we should do in the future. We are looking for future town hall guests to come on and discuss the state of the space industry as well. So if you know someone who would be a great guest or are interested in being a guest yourself too, reach out. It's always fun to talk space. And yeah, we're also kind of discussing about maybe doing these sorts of things every 2 weeks instead of every week, but we'd love to hear what the community thinks. So
yeah, it's been I mean, the pace of things is really astounding, and so yeah, I do think that this one was warranted, and hopefully there'll be more crazy updates in the coming weeks. I get the feeling that yeah, I mean, we've been saying this for a while, but that there's going to be a massive ramp up in lunar interest with Artemis 2, and so yeah, it'll be an interesting time for MoonDAO as we're kind of I mean, and yeah, we're moving forward with Frank's raise. A lot of great comments here from Frank too. So that'll be really exciting too. It'll be another opportunity, like we mentioned, for more people to go to space, and so lots of interesting stuff happening. I think, yeah, I'm very excited for the next few months with MoonDAO.
Totally. A place to be if you're interested in the moon. So yeah.
Join the Discord. Get in there. Become a citizen.
Discord. Yes, become a citizen.
Yeah.
Join the Discord. It's the place to be if you have lunar ambitions and lunar ideas.
It's better than LinkedIn by far.
Right.
We've actually got that testimonial from Open Lunar. They said that, like, posting on the jobs board, they actually get real signal from real people that are very interested in space, versus something like when you post on LinkedIn and you get a million AI applications. So the signal to noise ratio is very high in the MoonDAO platform. So if you're an organization that has openings, definitely check it out. It's a great place to engage with people that really care and are making a difference in the space industry already. So, and if you're a citizen, it's a great place to find opportunities. So.
100%. ETH prices are down, so yeah, it's on sale right now too. If you want to become a citizen, create your team.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Once a year sale.
It's the cheapest it'll ever be, probably.
Right. So now's the time to join. But yeah. See you in Discord, I guess, if you're not there already. MoonDAO.com/Discord, and get the conversation going. We'll have another project cycle here in another 2 months, essentially at the beginning of April too. So start ruminating on those ideas and what you'd like to see happen in Q2 in terms of your MoonDAO space projects. We'll have another round of, another call for applications and funding cycle then. So the moon is the place to be. So more lunar projects for Q2.
Yeah.
But
all right, cool. I think it's a great way to wrap it up. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Welcome to MoonDAO, a revolutionary governance model and mission-oriented community that's reshaping collaboration in the space industry. Our mission is to create a self-sustaining, self-governing settlement on the moon to act as a launch point into the cosmos. MoonDAO is governed like a nation, with its own economy, constitution, voting system, treasury, elections, and senate. But internet native, and so without the limitations of geography. In 2022, we sent our first member to space, showcasing our model's capacity for real-world impact. Now, we're implementing key solutions for global collaboration in the space industry. We offer a borderless, permissionless platform that enables everyday people to participate in the future of space development and exploration. Be part of our lunar legacy and join the MoonDAO movement today.